An online business needs software. It needs applications. It needs a lot of software, a lot of these applications, and each one of them can cost quite a bit of money, and it adds up to an awful lot of money a year. What's the answer then? Do we have an answer? Can we make it low cost for you? Of course we can. If you are building an online business but are struggling with time, tech, or money to make it work, then this is the podcast for you. Our goal is to share with you our skills, experience, and online business adventures so you can build your online business quicker, easier, and bigger than you ever thought possible. Hello, my name is Nigel T. Best, and welcome to the Build Your Online Business Show. Well, I'm here today, so I'm just going to pull him up. I'm here today with Jared.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Jared?
All good.
All good, he says. All good. Look at that haircut he's got. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, he is just taking the mick because he's having his head shaved to a level that is about as good as I can grow it to. But anyway, today's episode, Groove, the software we love, it can't be that good, can it? And the reason we're doing this episode, Jared, is because when we talk to people, they kind of look at us and go, yeah, but it can't do that, can it? It can't be that.
Unbelievable. And even to me, I feel like every single time we talk about Groove, I'm still like, this is still free. I always mention to you, wow, we can still do so much for free. Yes, there's some things you have to pay for, but the cost is very little.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, folks, here's the problem that a lot of people face. They look at things and they sort of go, yeah, all right, I hear that we need software. Yeah, I get it. You've got to have software to get online. I mean, you try holding your laptop screen up to the window and hoping passers-by will spot what you are marketing. There's no chance. In order to get online, you've got to use software applications. Most of them are subscription, and most of them give you a little bit of time to try it for free. I guarantee that you will not be able to do it in the 7-day trial period that they give you. I also guarantee that they can't do everything. So they'll do a little bit of it, okay? Now, what I've found in coaching people, Jared, I used to coach a lot of people face-to-face. Obviously, everything went online and things like that with the pandemic and all the aftermath of that. But what I used to find was that people would totally understand that you need software.
Yeah.
They would totally subscribe to lots of bits of software, and then they would totally not do anything. Life got in the way, things, their 7-day trial came and went. And before they knew it, and when we met up again a month later, they were subscribed to about 5 or 6 things. They'd seen large amounts of money go out of their bank account, and they were getting deeply frustrated because they didn't feel that any of the progress they'd made had merited the cost that they were spending. And they were going, look, I'm burning through cash here.
Yeah.
That was what they were saying to me. And sure enough, the following month, life had still got in the way. They'd managed to make some progress, but nowhere near enough. But then we would sit down there and I'd say, okay, log on. And they'd go, well, I cancelled that. And I cancelled that one. I cancelled that as well. And I cancelled that. And I said, all right, just grab the top of the lid of your laptop. And I said, and gently lower it down and close it. And they'd look at me and they go, well, what do you mean? I said, well, if you don't have the software, you have closed your business.
Yeah.
And they looked at you in horror, and I totally get it, because you feel like you're wasting your money, and they felt like it was a sensible move to cancel the subscriptions until they knew what they were doing. But I said, well, you can't learn how to do it unless you are subscribed or you have the software available. And this was the problem. They kind of lost track of what they were doing in the month. They lost focus. They didn't didn't get good value from it. They weren't taking advantage of asking for help and guidance during the month. So they had a double issue of the cost and the lack of a coach.
Yeah, I think also what some people might come to terms with over the period of trying to get used to the software and designing your website and all that is it could get overwhelming. All the technology, everything you need to do, it could get overwhelming to the point where you think, is this really for me? And some places make it a lot simpler, but that takes away some of its effect. So, for instance, Wix is a really good software, but that's because it's so simple and easy to use, but its effect is lost within the little details that you can add with some other softwares.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come on and talk about other things and what you could do. But if we sort of think there, it's a perfect example. People get lost and they're not too sure what they're doing. We've already said, look, the problem is if you don't understand, you've got to do a couple of things. You've got to have the software, but then you've got to be able to understand and use it. And I can't reiterate or stress this enough. If you don't have the software, you don't have an online business. That's the top and bottom of it. Yeah. There's not a lot else we can do at that point. But in kind of the wider business, and we always like to talk about the wider business issue on things like this. And you sort of think, right, okay, when you're starting a business, you've got to be prepared, folks. You've got to be prepared. I'm talking to you right now. Right, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm looking straight at you right now. You've got to be prepared to put a bit of money behind your adventure, your business. You're going to invest. You're investing your time, but you've got to invest a bit of money. There's no getting around it, but we're not talking hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars or anything like that. We're not even talking tens of thousands of pounds. We're talking much less than that. But you still got to put your hand in your pocket. You still got to do it. You still got to be able to do that. But the thing is, when you're doing that, there are what I would call good ways and bad ways of spending your money. All right, I'm going to give you some examples here. So good ways, I'd say, let's start with the good. Good ways of investing your money. I'd say things like, obviously, some software. That's a given. Some money on your website, whether it's help or time or, maybe some design help on there, but get your website going and make sure you've got one. I would also spend time, and if there's a great quote, I think it was something like Abraham Lincoln, and he said, if I've got an hour to chop down a tree, I'd spend 55 minutes sharpening my axe. And then he must have chopped away in the last 5 minutes. But what he was saying is, it's very easy to jump in with a blunt axe. So you go in and you blunder around, you spend an awful lot of time and effort on there. So a good thing to do with maybe your money or your time is to get educated, gain the skills, invest in a coach.
Probably some pre-planning.
Yeah, just these things. If you think, right, okay, if you want to be good at something, what's the best thing you do? You take some lessons, you learn about it, you spend some time researching it, you spend some time investing in maybe a training program, maybe a course, and those sort of things. That's where you should be focusing your time, because that will give you a return on that investment, which is you'll probably do things better, quicker, in a more complete way. In a more structured, professional way, all these sort of things, okay? Now, we said the good things. So the good things, software, website, coach, education, those sort of things. What are the bad ways, I hear you say, Jared?
What are the bad ways?
What are the bad ways, indeed? All right, I'd say things like this. I have met people who have done this. They've got a business idea. They've got no clue what they're doing at the moment. But the first thing they thought they needed to do was go off and source some expensive office space, because nothing makes a business more successful than having a swanky office suite or something like that. And they had gone off, and I've even met people who have leased office space for 12 months on the basis that they already had a picture in their mind that this business, had 20 or 30 people and it was going to be all this and all that. Well, after a couple of months, they soon were back at the landlord asking if they could back out of this deal because they realized how bad it was. So do not do it. Jared, where did Amazon start from?
Well, a lot of places start from garage.
Exactly. Apple, Microsoft, Google. I think, Amazon, Google, they all started with what they had where they were right now. So, folks, do not, when you're starting a business, try and get, some office space. Another one that people spend loads of time and money on, a logo. you laugh. We've done it.
We have done it.
And we still do it. But you can do that whilst doing other things. But I know people who cannot get past, they can't get past anything else until that logo is done. And you're the designer, Jared?
Yeah, sadly. I have to spend time trying to... Well, the thing with me is sometimes it's effective and then you re-look at it and you think, is it effective? And then you go back and you change a little thing. And then I think I look at it now and I think, I could have just kept with the original thing and just been at the same point that I was already. And I think that's something that we have reiterated in some of the build membership stuff that we do to some of the people in there, is just keep it simple. Don't overthink, don't overclutter things, don't go back and rethink and re-guess yourself. Just keep it simple. Get the foundations right first before you start.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to logo and stuff like that, 10 minutes, folks. 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, whatever you've got on the table at 10 minutes, it will do. All right, so don't spend too much time on that. I've also had a lot of people who will spend, right, get this, Jared, they are, when I ask them sort of, why have you done that? How big is your business already? What are you thinking you need to do? And the reason I say that is because they have their first move, they've started their business. And the first move was to engage a solicitor or a lawyer to do the copywriting and the protection and all the other things for this incredible business idea. Now, when I have managed to get out of them what this incredible business idea is, I have then gone to Google, I have then searched, and I have found something like 2.4 million results, where it shows that people are already doing this. So I've kind of turned around to them and said, all this legal stuff that you're trying to do, it's not going to protect you. And they go, well, mine's an incredible idea. And I went, is it anything like this? And they went, well, I don't believe it. That's my idea, is that? And you kind of think, wow, okay, so should we move on from the legal stuff? Well, I still need to do this and protect that. I said, you're not protecting anything. And I said, here's the thing. He who wins is the one that gets to market quickest and sells most of it. And they go, well, no, that's not right. I said, look, they will tie you up in legal knots for 2 or 3 years. Meanwhile, they will keep selling it. They will keep dominating the market, and you will get nothing except a massive lawyer's bill. And the only winner there is the lawyer. So forget your legal stuff at the moment. If there's something simple that you could do, then fine. And one of the simplest ways you can do it is write it down, because copyright, if you can prove, so publish a podcast talking about it, write a blog article about it, where it's time and date stamped, that will do. Because if there is a dispute, you can always go back and say, well, I did it at this date. And if people can't prove an earlier date that they did it, yes, you can do it. But I tell you, it's a fool's errand going down that route for legal costs straight away. But also, along with that, Jared, you're a designer, but I've seen people who go off and not only are they looking at the legal protection, excuse me, but they are looking at getting a designer to do a swanky logo. No longer are they doing it themselves. They've now engaged a designer to do one. And, whoa, they brought in the brand consultants who as well. And I've had people who said, oh, they've worked with so-and-so and so-and-so. And I went, oh, my goodness, they are £1 million turnover businesses. What the hell are you doing engaging them? What's your brand? What's your conversation been with them? Well, at the moment, we're trying to develop what the brand is. I said, what are you actually selling? Well, we're trying to work out what we're actually selling. And it's just like, all right, they must go away and chuckle at how much money you are spending, sending their way when you don't know what you're doing.
I think that's the theme, isn't it? With each bad way that we've explained, that's the theme, is you are spending a load of money, but you're not advancing the way you make money. You're not helping yourself make money.
How do you make money, Jared?
By making money. You by not doing that, by not doing any of the
But what do you have to do?
Have a website.
And what do you have to do on that website? He's looking at me blankly. You see, this you never bring a designer on. This is why you never bring a designer on. You've got to sell stuff, matey.
Oh, yes.
You've got to sell stuff. And a lot of people, all the bad ways, in what way is getting an office space? In what way is getting a logo? In what way is engaging lawyers? In what way is getting a design? In what way is having brand consultants? In what way is that actually making a sale? And the answer is, it's not. It's not. And I know there's going to be perfectionists out there who are screaming. They are feeling physically sick at the phrase that I'm going to use next, which is when you're starting out, you want low risk, you want low cost, you want fast return, quick and dirty, rough and ready, minimum viable product. So, how do perfectionists like the words rough and ready?
Well, I am one, so not very much. But I think if you are like me and you are a perfectionist, you need to come to the realization that all those other things, as much as your mind tells you, well, this is good for my business, this is going to help my business, you're just starting. It's not helping your business right now. You don't have a giant corporation that you need to manage. You just starting out. So those stuff can all come later when you are eventually making money. If you don't even have a website, why are you worrying about the logo? You haven't even sorted out a website yet or the software. So I think a lot of that stuff you need to realize can come later.
Yeah, and the reason for this episode, and the reason we sort of say, and we're talking about Groove, it can't be that good, can it? Because a lot of the things that are found when people are starting up a business is they get sidetracked with the wrong thing. They avoid ever getting to the point of making a sale. And, if they can doubt something, if they can delay it, procrastinate, make it sit on the back burner until they've done all these other things, people will do it. And the problem is, at this point, folks, you don't know if any of it will work. So I'd say just don't go mad on this sort of thing. Just test it. You might have to pivot, change, and all the rest of it, and test it again. And how do you test it? Well, I can tell you right now, it doesn't mean that your mum bought it. It doesn't mean that your best mate bought it or anything like that. It means that a complete stranger bought it. That's what you're trying to get, because it's all down to how you get the message and how you get the product in front of people. And when I say minimum viable product, if you look at the definition of a minimum viable product, they'll say it has just enough features to sort of work for the very first users. And you'll notice in there, it doesn't say the perfect product or anything like that. We've got to work on the basis that it's not going to be right. And if you've been in business before and you're now looking to go online with this business, look back at when you started. Oh my goodness me. It's like going back and watching your first YouTube video or going back and listening to your first podcast episode or whatever it is. You realize how far you have come from that point. But would you have ever got to this point now where you are with maybe making sales, or maybe you got the business going, or maybe your podcast has done 100 episodes, or you're on your 50th YouTube video? Would you have ever got to that point if you had waited until you were at that point before you're doing your first one? No, absolutely not. We've got to get it out there. We've got to get our hands dirty, and we've got to try it. So if you had a website, and the website was a picture of you with your finger pointing down saying, press the button below, and that button took you to maybe an opt-in page where someone could leave their name and their email, and they could get some information, then that is much better than someone who's coming up with the logo and doing all the rest of it and getting some legal protection and all those other bits. Why? Because you could share your domain name, your website address. They'd go, you'd say, oh, there's only a picture of me at the moment, but the button you want to press is right there. Click that button, you put your details in, and I'll send you an email with the free ebook, the PDF, the checklist, the worksheet, whatever it is. You are in a much, much better position than anyone else who's stuck in the other things. However, you're probably thinking, all right, okay, you've talked enough about it, but Jared, you'll have used lots of different bits of software. I've used lots of different bits of software over the time. We've got to think to ourselves, okay, a lot of people know a lot of software products, and they might have used Kartra or ClickFunnels or Kajabi or ConvertKit or whatever. And you'll find that most of those things do one thing really well, but they don't do lots of the others. So, Jared, if you wanted to do it, you've got to subscribe to a lot of bits of software.
There's about if you want every single little bit, there's about 20 something.
Yeah. And they're all not nice to have. If you are going full out for your online business, they are all must-haves.
That's also one of the things that people fall in, is that, well, I have a website, but I need everything. They always think, oh, I need everything.
Yeah.
But that means you're left there with 65 different subscriptions to all these places, and you're forgetting all these passwords, or even worse, every single password and login is all the same, which is putting you at risk. And I just think it's a very dangerous trap to fall down when you have all these things to juggle and not really a lot of ways to do it.
But I totally understand if you've fallen into that, because as soon as you get involved in this, you see that and you think, oh, I want that. Oh, I need that. And oh, that's 14-day free trial. Oh, 7-day free trial, and all the rest of it. And you sign up to them all, and yeah, perfect. You can do all that, and you give it a go. You give it a go with these sort of things. But as you say, you kind of get overwhelmed, and there's so much there.
Easy rabbit hole to fall down.
Easy rabbit hole to fall down. Now, the reason we wanted to do this episode and come back to Groove, and when we sort of go, people say, well, I want to use this, and you go, yeah, well, Groove can do it. Well, I need to use that. Yeah, but Groove can do that as well. And people sort of, they look at you and they think, are you sure? And I say, look, all right, it might not be as brilliant as that standalone single piece of software, but here are the things. This is the reason that we want to sort of talk about Groove, and we've got loads of reasons why you should give it a go. But I'm going to go through a few now. But if we're all happy, we're all on the same page, in as much as when it comes to software, we can't ignore it. We need to keep the costs as low as possible. We're all agreed on that. Can we make it easier? Can we somehow keep control of those costs, the development, the maintenance, the sales, all those things? How do we do all that? And the reason we chose Groove is because Groove has built into it so many of these things. And we chose Groove because you can get a free account, and that free account doesn't have a 7-day limit.
No.
Doesn't have a 14-day limit. So you can sign up to it, and then, I don't know, you spend 2 weeks being ill.
Completely free forever.
Yeah, 2 weeks on holiday. You then have, you got your normal job, and it's 3 months before you start looking at Groove. You haven't spent any money for 3 months. You're all right. You're not subscribing at $199 a month for something, and you're kind of $600 down, and now you feel like you're playing catch up. It's free to give it a really good go. So there are also, every so often, options to purchase for a reasonable sum of money, a lifetime subscription to the full fat version with unlimited this and huge allowances for that. So You can have unlimited websites. You can have unlimited memberships. You can have unlimited e-commerce stores. You can have about 20 or 30,000 people on your email list and things like that. These are incredibly valuable, but maybe that's for you down the road. You don't need that necessarily at the moment. But the other things that you can do, you've got an immediate chance to recover costs and make some money, because they have a built-in affiliate scheme where they are saying, hey, if you fancy being a salesperson for the Groove product, then just share this code with your friends, your customers, whoever, and if they purchase it, we'll give you 20% or 40%, depending on whether you got the free or paid version, right? Fantastic. The thing that I love on this, Jared, is what's in Groove. Yeah. And this is where the title of the podcast episode is, can it really do that? It's because you've got pretty much every essential app you need to run your online business within one dashboard. Now, that in itself, I would say on the very basis that you only have one login, I would say do that.
100%.
Man, I was looking at my password vault. And a top tip, folks, if you're one of these people that writes down their passwords on a piece of paper or in a notebook, and I had a very dear friend, Sean, big shout out to you. Love you, my man. But he once left his behind. And on the front of his notepad, it said, Sean's password book. and we opened it up, and sure enough, it had all his passwords written down in it. And we did chuckle about that. We ransomed him over that one. And we gave it back to him that night in the pub. But yeah, we thought that was hilarious. But if that's kind of you, again, I totally understand why you do it, because you need them all the time, yes, your passwords. But there are things called password vaults where you can pay a few dollars a year. You have one secure login, often two-factor things, where you get a text back on your mobile phone and you log in, that sort of thing. But you can then store all your passwords in one place. Okay, I would recommend that.
Even if you don't want to pay for something, there's always if you have iPhone, there's a great thing in Notes where you can actually lock a note so that you can only open it with your password. So if you put all your passwords in there, you can lock the note, and then you can only gain access to it. You can set the password to whatever you want. So if you want it completely separate to the actual login on your phone, that's great. I mean, I have one that has all my bank details in, and that's a locked note that only I can get access to. So that's a free way of doing it if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, I think I've got, last count, 300 odd passwords in there. And it's, I think, $15 a year or something. So it's peanuts. Yeah. It's peanuts. The other thing from that, folks, is just looking on the cheery side of life. If if something happened to you, you could have just one password for your nearest and dearest, that in the event of your demise or something like that, they would be able to get in and be able to access everything and all the rest of it. Because I tell you what, the practicalities of that is, it is profound. And if you're grieving for somebody, the last thing you want to have to do is try and work out how to cancel umpteen subscriptions to various things or all the rest of it. Anyway, I love the fact that it's all in one place. It's one login and things like that. What else have we got on here? The fact that it is in one place on one dashboard means that you do not need to try and integrate software. If you have ever tried to integrate bits of software, you will know that it is the easiest thing. Sorry, let me read my notes again. It is the world's most bastardish bloody thing to try and make computers talk to each other.
And I've watched you and Curtis talk about it, and honestly, I'm not a crazy tech person, and it just gave me a headache watching you two talk about like the struggles of having to integrate things. It was awful.
Yeah, it really is. And when you have to get a third-party bit of software to make this bit talk to that bit, but it won't talk to the other bit because you've got to do that. And if you think you got 15 of those, with 15 different logins and all the rest of it, you can soon see, folks, how it gets a bit nuts. And I totally understand why a lot of people give up at that point, because they feel that the tech is stopping them doing it. And it's why we love Groove, because you kind of just eliminate that that ability to, or that requirement to make things talk to each other, the integration stuff. So there you go. Did we mention that you can get a free account? Yeah, that's one of the key
That's the
things.
craziest thing, is because with a free account, I always keep saying to Nigel, like, it's just crazy how people are missing out on something completely free and instead paying for 19 different things at a crazy price. And even though Groove has a paid for version, that's not to say it's a lot like other places where the free version is very limited and then you pay for it and you actually get the actual thing that you wanted in the first place.
Yeah, I'm just pointing on there above Jared's head. So if you're on YouTube, you'll see it. Yeah, he's trying to. If you go to bit.ly/Nigel Groove, you can use our affiliate link. Thank you very much. Go and get yourself a free account if you haven't got one already. I'm sure most of you listening already have, but there you go. It's on the screen now, bit.ly/Nigel Groove. So, yeah. All right. So the free account, just amazing. It really is. The fact that it's free, I think that, Jared, for me, is the reason why most people sort of go, nah, it can't be. There must be a catch. There must be that.
Yeah, that's the case in most instances, is that when it's free, the paid for version has so much to unlock that you're like, the free account's essentially not really the
It's
actual,
a light version, isn't it?
it's a not actually the what you want. It's the paid for version that you want. But with Groove, the free account, you can literally do everything, completely everything for free. You don't need, unless you like, unless your business upscaled or anything like that.
I mean, this is the thing, because folks, you can try for free and there's no time pressure on you. This is brilliant, and this is why you can invest that money in paying for training courses or a coach. Using us, joining our Build membership, where we sort of share our sort of training schemes and all the rest of it, and we offer support and we do live Q&A sessions and stuff. And if you want to get that, let me just stick that up. I think it's just ticking across the top of the screen there, groove.builders/build. It's like a non-stop plug fest is this episode, isn't it? But no, folks, I'm coming on to another reason. Get yourself a free account, because all the money you save, you can put to good use, which is, if you go to somebody else who's doing it already, or who's coaching people, or who's guiding people, what that effectively means is that you are spending your hard-earned dollars and you are investing it in speeding things up, making it quicker, making it easier, getting a better understanding, having yourself being held accountable, really getting to rock and roll without having to go away and try and learn it all yourself, fathom it all out yourself, try and link everything together and all the rest of it. And Jared, when we do the training, and some of the podcast episodes, if you watch it on YouTube, you'll see there'll be a little demo in there. There might be a demo in there where we kind of show you the screens and the buttons to click and what to do and all the rest of it. The fact that we use Groove, the fact that we recommend Groove, the fact that you get a free account with Groove, it means that you can follow along. And what we found is that when people use other types of software and stuff, and they are sort of saying, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't say that here. It doesn't have that button in my software. It calls it something else in that. Oh, it's not linking in my software and all the rest of it. You get this annoying thing where we can't do the training for 35 different versions of software.
Yeah, so if you're on ClickFunnels and we're using Groove,
it won't make much sense.
It won't make any sense to you.
The principles will be the same.
Yeah.
And the overall theory will be the same, but the screen layout, the buttons, the wording, and all the rest of it. And this is what trips people up. They decide, no, I read a blog article and I'm going to use this piece of software. And you go, yeah, that's totally fine. Totally get it, but it's going to make us being able to help you a lot harder. Okay, so that's another reason. And it all comes back to the same thing, which is we're recommending Groove because it meets the low risk, low cost criteria for anyone starting up. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you do that. So, wow, we've covered a lot. And what we wanted to do is really just stress to you, you've got to pick some software. Whichever one you pick, you got to go with it. And I would say find someone who uses that software so you can be trained by them to get the most from it. Okay. The fact that we use Groove means that you can do, instead of having to find 15 different teachers for 15 different bits of software, you just find us and we cover it all. The fact is we need software. In Groove, we found that not only did we need it, but we wanted it. We wanted it as a tool. We saw it as an asset and also a revenue generator.
Is that we aren't getting paid from Groove to advertise them. We're not.
Just our straightforward affiliate link.
Affiliate link. So they've not come to us and said, "Oh, can you sell this for us?" We're not actually under them or anything. We are just primarily just telling you to use it because we think it's great free software.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's so useful.
Absolutely. So what we're saying on here is, look, folks, you have a choice. You can go individual software. You can go multiple software apps. You can go integration if that's your thing, if you're tech-minded and you want to do that route. But I would say unless you can go full-time on that to get the most out of it, you're going to pay a huge amount for it. I think you'll get frustrated. I think when they don't talk to each other, or you've forgotten how they talk to each other, or the third-party bit of software falls over and needs updating and all the rest of it, I think you will end up cancelling those subscriptions. And as I say, that's when you grab the lid of your laptop, slam it shut, pick it up, you open the window, you throw the laptop out, and you shout, "Good riddance, my online business." You're out of there, sort of thing. So I think, I'm going to stick up the link again here, bit.ly/Nigel Groove. By the way, give us a subscribe or like or whatever it is. It's appeared right above my head.
The Groove Build membership as well, just
just so we have everything on there. So look, we think you should give it a try. We think you will love it. Look, does it mean that you're suddenly a guru and a master at using this software? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that you, if you follow some of our trainings, and we've got some great free training out there, including launch a website, your own website with a domain name in 10 minutes.
That is something we talk about in another.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we've talked about that. It might be coming up soon. I can't remember the order of the podcast. But, go to groove.builders. Have a look there. There's a quiz. Are you ready for an online business? You can click and try the quiz on there. You can get that free launch your website in 10 minutes. And here's the thing, folks. If you learn how to launch your website, perhaps then you could do it again for someone else and charge them $1,000 for it. How about that for a business idea? Maybe you're a sort of a great website creator. And you love it, and you can just do that, and sell those on to people. So you create them for other people. So you've got that. We think you'll love it. And as I say, I think there's a real thing here, Jared, in terms of, I'll take all those banners off. I think there's a real thing that you can, the money that you've saved on those subscriptions for the software, you could use it. I just put down a few things here. Invest in your knowledge, invest in your skills, invest in your product or service development. Maybe you want a virtual assistant, a VA to help you out. Maybe it's training courses, maybe it's our training courses, maybe it's us as coaching you, maybe it's our membership.
That's the thing as well. With Groove, we're not saying it's easy. We're not saying, oh my God, it's the most simple thing out there. It's not. There is some adjusting that you need to do, like all softwares. It's not different in that sense. But that's where we can offer you the help. And this is not just me trying to plug us. It's genuine that we can give you that simple help because we've used it and we have found issues with it. We have found little roadblocks, but we've overcome them in certain ways, and we can help you by just simply telling you them. We have lives where if you come on, we can genuinely just talk to you and see what your issue is. You can tell us, we can give you some advice. There's so many useful ways that we can help you, and I think that's the thing that differs from a lot of other places, is that they're trying to sell you something, whereas we're not just trying to sell you something, we actually trying to see people get their business up and running. And we have someone in the membership called Jean, who we absolutely love because she is our #1 student. She does everything amazing, and seeing her progression, seeing how we help her is the highlight of what we trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's folks, whatever you buy, just by getting a free account or subscribing to lots of software doesn't instantly give you results. You still gotta, here's the brutal truth. You got to get off your ass and do it. But I tell you what, it's a darn sight easier if someone is there to show you what to press, show you what to push, click, or whatever it might be. It really does help people. And as I say, if you can save a load of money on your subscription, you can put it to good use in order to do it. So to get the most out of it. And at the end of all of that, I reckon there should still be enough money left over for you to buy us a beer. All right, that's enough for this. But yeah, look, give Groove a try. I think you'll be staggered at what it offers you. You'll be amazed at what's in there, and you will love going through our training because we use it, and whatever you see on your screen, you'll see on our training, and you can click and follow along. Next episode coming up, we're going to look at how to optimize the look of your website, because although you might create it on a desktop, it's something like 70% of all users will view your website on a mobile phone or mobile device. And if it's poorly designed, if it doesn't look great, it's going to kill your sales stone dead. So you've got to make sure that you know what you're doing on the mobile version, and we're going to be talking through some of the issues of that. Remember, if you love us enough, thank you very much, would you give us a review? That would be fantastic. We'll give you a shout out if you write us a review.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. And don't forget to subscribe. So thank you very much, Jared.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon, folks. Bye for now.